in OBS, I think.
I'm almost afraid to click on the link because I feel like it's going to create this echo.
Oh yeah, I put it on my phone so I can look at the chat there.
Right. Yeah, I think we are live actually.
Hey, all right, cool. We made it.
So I see OBS Studio, but I don't see us.
Yeah, I think we're here now. Just a minute late.
There we go.
Hi, Dawn. Good morning. Yeah, appreciate you guys coming. This was my first live interview, so I don't really know what I'm doing. This is probably suboptimal. Let me see if I can full screen this. What's the full screen? There we go. That looks a little cleaner. But yeah, so we got Josh Galt here. He's one of my favorite YouTubers in the reselling community. He's super authentic. He shares the highs, the lows, the good, the bad. And he's very open-minded, very humble. He doesn't act like he has all the answers like some other YouTubers do. So I'm really glad to have him on. And I'm going to let Josh give his story, whatever he wants to share for people who might not know him.
I want to say, Paul, thank you for the warm introduction. Yeah, Paul and I have known each other for, I would say, probably years. Maybe since I first started my channel, talking in the comment section about business, basically. So I appreciate you having me on and taking the time to talk to me today. And just a short introduction, as Paul said, I started my own eBay company in 2020 around. And it was a rough start for me. And I was just kind of grinding through it and learning from people who knew better than I did about what to do. And that eventually turned into a fairly successful reselling company, I would say, up until about a month ago when things changed. Yeah. That's a whole other story. And it eventually allowed me to meet my partners and who are very technically inclined. We started an AI company, which has taken off. And that's kind of what brings us here today, I think.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing that I love talking about the most right now is the technology and kind of the bleeding edge of eBay and AI. Yeah, so we've had conversations we've started in live chats here and there, and one of the things we were talking about before was how how AI listing software is going to change eBay, whether or not it's going to oversaturate certain markets, drive prices down, things like that. And I think for your typical whatever category you sell in, there's your bread and butter things that you find pretty frequently, the common stuff. I think all that stuff is going to get driven straight to the rock bottom prices that it can be. And curious what your thoughts are if you want to go into more detail from our brief chat.
Yeah, so I think there's a bit to unpack there. Your first statement was that AI is going to change everything, and I agree with that 100%. So this is something I think that sellers should be leaning into, whatever that looks like for you, because if you're on our side of the fence, Paul and I's side of the fence, you'll see that the AI listings are more accurate, they're more optimized, it's faster. I mean, it is truly the leading edge. It can just do it better, and the platforms, not only eBay, are leaning into this technology and adopting it. Now, as far as saturation is concerned, I do agree over time, we might get to that point where common items, so anything that's overproduced in real life, so anything you can find at a Dollar Tree or whatever, anything that was mass produced, the barrier for that stuff getting online now is gone. So in a few years' time, as people start utilizing these tools, yeah, that will be the case where you'll see a lot of this stuff online. And as we all know, if something is in oversupply, demand is static, price has to come down. That's the only way that gets sorted out. So there probably is a 3-year jump for common items now where people can just blast this stuff up and sell it. But over time, I would agree it's probably going to lead to saturation. And I just want to put one more point, Paul, and then I'll throw it back to you. Let me know what you think. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of resistance to using AI tools right now. People are sort of conflating it with some of the junk you see in the descriptions on eBay, the fluffy, they're seeing that. They're thinking about Terminators and, John Connor and all this other stuff. So there's that whole confusion. So the early adopters, I think, are more benefiting from this right now than anyone else. So they're taking it. They're like, oh my God, this is changing my business. I'm making all this money, and they're running with it. But eventually the market is going to catch up because the technology is not going to go back in the box. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, exactly. I agree completely. And that's the whole point of me making that argument, is that we have this, limited window of time, I feel like, before everybody else wakes up and starts doing it this way. So we have to, strike while the iron is hot, get everything out while you can, and take advantage. Because like in the sports card world, you can go buy cards for 99 cents free shipping and people are losing money on it, hoping that people will buy multiple cards. And it's only a matter of time before other categories get to that point, I think. So with this huge advantage, we really have to, use it to the fullest. And what that leads me to is like, okay, so let's imagine the world where people have either quit or they've hopped on the AI bandwagon, and now we're like long-term view.
We're 3 years down the road.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. What would the next innovation be? And my thought on that is it's got to be lots, like curating lots. That's like my gut instinct on it, because it's a way to differentiate and provide additional value to customers, and make more money off the same stuff with actually doing less work, provided you can kind of curate it quickly. What are your thoughts on that? Like, so, 3 years from now, for List Easier, everybody's using AI, and, maybe eBay's AI platform gets so good that you and I are both, we got to shut down our companies. Nobody cares. They get it for free from eBay. Like, what's the next move?
Well, I will say, okay, so I've got a few things here. I got to think about this. So the next move, I think that, first of all, there are people that don't want to work more. I think if you use these AI integrations, you actually have to work more. You got to buy more stuff. You got to list. Like, listing isn't that hard. You got to pack more items. You got to have more room. You got to be organized. Like, you can't just like muddle through this. So I think those people are going to run away with it. And then the ones that are like, no, I'm going to do it on my own. It's the same people that were using typewriters and refusing to switch to computers.
Yeah.
Those business models will become obsolete. And, a lot of people even now that refuse to use AI, they're like, I'm never using it. They are using Google reverse image search, which is AI. They're using eBay, and eBay is filled with AI integrations. So they're using it whether they like it or not. They might not realize it. As far as lots are concerned, I think currently a lot of the lot market is people buying what they believe is a deal on bulk items, and then at least partially piecing them out to resell them individually. So I think moving forward, what does that look like? Probably going to remain that way for a long time, I think. And I think you can even build lots into AI. You can create. We've messed around with it, and we were able to create bulk listings that were really accurate. So it's probably coming soon. And then I'll let you touch upon that. I just want to get to this last point. What does the future look like? I think there are still a lot of really amazing integrations coming between cross-listing, some of the like wearable devices like Google Glass, where you can just look at things and it's providing you prices, and you can say, yes, I want that one, and it lists it automatically. Integrations where the camera is actually in your phone, and you can take a picture, and as soon as the picture is taken, it's already listed through something like List Easier. So I think those are all integrations that are coming in the future as well. But I'm interested to double click on what you think about lots.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah. It's interesting because it is a lot of people buy lots because they want to resell it and individually. But at the same time, like with cards for collectors, if you curate a lot where there's like no duplicate cards or minimal duplicate cards, a collector might buy that because instead of paying, $1.50 $1 a card, or like $2.50 with shipping and all that, they can get the same cards that they might want to buy individually all in one shot for a cheaper price without having to search through eBay forever. So there is an angle there for collectors getting added value. And for like clothing, for example, I think of like if I were to, I just donate my old clothes because I don't want to mess with it. But if I were to sell my old clothes instead of donating it, I could have, let's say 10 extra large black V-necks used. And instead of like selling one individually, or maybe they're band t-shirts or something that people can't buy for, $10 at Marshall's. But if you have a collection of shirts that are all in like your style or somebody else's style that another person with that same style, instead of paying, $20-$30 a shirt to buy them individually from people, you can give them a deal, $15 a shirt. And now you move all that inventory in one shot, still make a nice margin. And it's a value add for customers in that sense.
Yeah, I think too, people, when you list things individually, so let's say, I'm not going to speak about cards because I don't know about cards, but let's say CDs. If you buy a CD for 10 cents even and you sell it for $4, the profit margin from a lot of 10 versus each individual sale, although it doesn't appear that way, is like 10 times the profit. Mm-hmm. Because once you take out all your fees, the unit economics of having to list this thing one by one, every time you touch something, it costs more money. It's your time that you could be doing something else. So on a single CD, you might only make 50 cents profit at the end of the day, but on a lot, you could be making $50 profit or 30 or whatever the case may be. So, and all that profit is in the back end of that kind of number there for your lots. So I would agree with you that lots in general are more profitable if you're selling common goods.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's funny because when I first started doing the lots, the price of like the eBay standard envelope was a lot lower. It was like 64 cents for a single card. Now it's 74 cents or something. And the fees have gone up, promoted listing stuff. You would make more like gross profit selling the singles versus selling the lots. But now with the shipping increases, fees going up, having to promote more, you actually not only do it faster and easier and make more profit per hour, you also make a higher gross profit in many circumstances now, which is crazy.
And less work.
Yeah.
So you don't have to slave over, one card after another. It might be easy with the scanners and the hoppers and everything, but if you list it 300 as a lot, that's it. It's done.
Yeah. And you also mentioned like the glasses and the phone taking the picture. There's some cool software I've seen on GitHub for like trading card games in specific, like your Pokemon cards, Magic cards. And some of these things you can like point a camera at it, and the AI, you see it like making boxes around all the different cards, and it's identifying them in real time. And they have the card sorting robots and all that cool stuff. And with the glasses and stuff, I can see a future where you put on like your Meta Ray-Bans or whatever, and you walk into an estate sale, or maybe you run the estate sale, and instead of opening it up to the public, you're just walking around the house looking at something like, okay, you turn it around maybe so you get the camera and the glasses can get every angle to make the images, and it just lists it for you, and you put it in the skew, and you just walk around the house and skew everything up, and you're not comping anything. You're literally just looking at things, and you can like list an entire house's inventory for sale in like a day online.
So that's on our roadmap. I don't think the technology itself is there yet, but it will. It will get there 100%. And I think to piggyback onto that, you were talking about Pokemon cards and how the AI is identifying unique markers on the card. Mm-hmm. I think that will also lead to, once companies like List Easier, Plug, generate enough data, we can build those databases offline, so that you could have an app that doesn't take up a whole lot of data, maybe on your phone, where it's like called the Pokemon app or whatever, and you can basically use AI to pull from that database, and it doesn't matter whether or not you're connected to the internet. So I think that's another big advancement as well.
Yeah, that's smart, because some of those middle of nowhere estate sales, there's no signal.
Sure, yeah, and then you can also, and then that data could be proprietary. So if you're like a large company, you think of like a Beckett that does the sports guides, they have all this proprietary card data, which I think a lot of the card listing companies use that data. They probably tap into it or buy it, or maybe they build their own database, but Beckett has been collecting that information for forever, PSA. So that could all be proprietary offline data if they wanted it to be, and they could use AI to search that database.
Yeah, man. That'd be cool. That kind of breaks my heart a little bit. I'm excited and heartbroken because the glasses idea was something that I really wanted to do. But if you guys are doing it, then I guess I don't have to. I'll just sign up. Save myself the heartache.
The space is moving very quickly. So you see it when you're on the developer side of things, you can see what is good and what isn't. And, if you talk to people who are in the space, you're like, no, what you're doing is not, it's not going to be, you can't commercialize it, let's say. But, specifically with the eBay APIs and building out this kind of software, it's actually really difficult. Mm-hmm. But once it gets figured out, the roadmap is beautiful. And it's exciting if you're interested in this kind of nerdy stuff like we are. Yeah,
for sure. Man, so the other thing I'm interested in that I'm curious about that kind of piggybacks on this is like robotics. So like with the TCG stuff, they have card sorting robots already, and no one's done it for sports cards because they can't get the accuracy high enough. Their problem is they're thinking of, I got to organize these and get them listed as singles, but the AI is already there if you want to sort your sports cards by like player or team. That can be done easily. Yeah. And then you can just turn it into a lot, which since nobody's thinking about it that way, I kind of want to make like a sports card sorting robot. And then there's like Amazon has the automated storage and retrieval system. So it goes and puts the product on the shelf for you, pulls it back out.
Yeah.
Have you thought about any of that stuff? Do you have any interest in that arena?
Yeah, so that for us would require a partnership for sure. Mm-hmm. There is a machine called the Opera, which is super cool. It's a packing machine. And let's say you have a hat. It will recognize what the hat is, create a box it up, and then push it through to the other end and put a label on it.
Oh, man, that's awesome. I got to write that down and Google it.
Yeah, it's super cool technology. These machines are super expensive, but just the fact that it can make a box around it and it recognizes the size and everything. And then similar to that, U.S. Customs is now, through the weight and size of a box, they can determine whether or not the items that are stated to be inside that box are actually in there. And that's all using, basically artificial intelligence, searching these items, the HTS codes and everything else, and figuring it out. So that definitely interest in robotics, but it would require a partnership and really have to think down the line of what the value prop or value add for the customer would be in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these would definitely be
that's me free thinking
enterprise tier stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like what kind of value prop? Like, because your customers are always going to be saying to you, what does this do for me? Mm. So I haven't even thought about it, but you could probably produce some pretty cool robotic integrations with AI.
Yeah. There was actually a video from like 10 years ago. It's a really old video of some dude in Syracuse, New York, actually.
Yeah, not too far away.
Yeah, he had like one of the little suction cup robot arms, and he coded it to sort Topps Heritage baseball cards by number. So he would just set it up and walk away and let it sort, and that is kind of what inspired me. I was like, man, like it's not that hard to just figure out the card number. Like, what about the player name and blah blah blah. And there was actually some other guy I saw that made like, it was like a small box. I can't find the video again. I should have bookmarked them. But he made it so that you could tell it what card to spit out. So it kind of had different storage levels inside of it, and then whatever card you needed, it would spit it out for you like a vending machine. And seeing something like that at scale for like cards in particular would be really interesting. But whatever like category, if you're doing shirts, it's all going to be roughly the same. You could have a shirt machine that does everything.
100%. Yeah, absolutely 100%. And you see that at enterprise level. So I think it was called Stitch It. I don't know the name of the company, but they have almost nobody working for them now. It's all done automatically. So from the shirt pressing, and it comes down the line, and it gets set up, and then AI puts it on a model and all this other stuff, and almost no touch points whatsoever. So it's just, I don't know, it's really amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I'm going to catch up on the chat real quick just to interrupt.
Yeah.
Apologies, because I wasn't scrolling down.
So I'm not looking at the chat because it was slowing down my computer. So I'm just...
Yeah, it's all good. I'll read them off. So we got Dawn. We're live. Thank you, Dawn. Always good to see you. Landshark Picker, good to see you. He says, what's up? Dawn's happy she's not alone. Dawn asks Josh, how have things been since you shut things down? Let's see.
The timing, Dawn, has been pretty good, actually, because List Easier has been very busy. And although I'm not on the programming side of things, admittedly, or the development side, there's so much. If you want to build a company like this properly, there is so much to do with the legal framework, intellectual property, insurance, accounts, taxes, accountants, bookkeeping. Like, it just goes on and on and on and on. Accelerators, incubators, and all the things that you have to do for those sorts of things. So the fact that my store is closed right now is kind of a blessing, because I'm living my best life and I'm accomplishing a lot of deep brain work that needs to happen. So, but we'll start up soon again, I'm sure.
Yeah, that would be cool. I miss checking in on your store. I always kind of scanning through what you're up to.
Yeah.
Yeah, Landshark agrees with a lot of stuff we were talking about. Oh yeah, Dawn's been using the postcard list. She's a senior dev now with ChatGPT.
Oh, nice.
She never coded before. She just took the open source thing and just started running with it and customizing it to her needs, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, all right, cool. And Landshark also says who's doing the eBay AI repricer. So the Amazon repricer tools, having one for eBay. And that's a cool idea. I never really considered that.
Yeah, eBay, a few years ago, there are a few restrictions. So we learned this through the production API audit, that there are restrictions that eBay won't let you do. They won't let us scrape sold's price data. Huh. I mean, we could, but we'd lose our access to the production API, and then our business is pretty much in hot water. Another thing was that we do not provide any sort of repricing software. I've noticed that eBay is having their own markdown or repricing software where it reduces it 10% or 5% or whatever you set it to. Mm-hmm. But a repricer would be easy because we technically have the market intelligence, or at least some of it, but it's a no, not allowed. So
yeah, and I don't know why they do that. Because all the Amazon price info you can get, it doesn't make sense to me why eBay wants to hide it, because you actually used to be able to get keyword search volume. So you could go on to their ad platform and start making a campaign, type in some keywords that you're interested in, and it would show you the average monthly search volume for that keyword. And they hid that now. So now you can't get that anymore. And then Terapeak used to have number of sales, average sale price. So you could multiply them together, find out how big the market is or how much has sold in the last 90 days or a year or whatever. And now they're not letting us find that out either. So it's
I think if I had to guess, I would say that they've tinkered with a repricer in the past somehow, and they noticed that their profits went down. So it might have created a little bit more velocity, but you could put a card up for $12 where the average price is $4, and sometimes it sells.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's what they place up at the top for whatever reason. So it makes me wonder if that's why they don't have the repricer, because that affects their profit margins, because they skim 18% off of every sale.
Yeah. 20 for me because I promote so high.
Yeah, exactly. So nice. I wonder if that has something to do with it. And it, while the comments sort of catch up, another thing I will say too is a lot of the software out there, you do, and Paul and I were talking about this beforehand, you have to make sure that the software is end-to-end encrypted and that they have a production API. Before I were to ever sign up to any, and nobody knows this really except for you and I, but before I were to sign up to anyone's software, I would want to know that they had access to the production API on eBay, because you can't get that production API without getting audited by eBay. And what eBay is doing is they're making sure that you are encrypted properly, that you are not taking customer data, that you're not scraping their site for stuff you shouldn't be. Because remember, everyone, your social security is on. They take that for tax purposes. They have all this, your banking information and everything else. So if there's anybody that connects to eBay offering software, if they're taking your information, they could literally take a mortgage out on your, they could, because they have all that information. They could take a mortgage out overseas. So I always think that, because you see, we see a lot of software coming up and you're like, who are these guys? Like, it's like Rock Lister, Listing Rocker, Rocket Lister, Listing Rocket, like all these other companies. And you're like, who are these guys? And if you trace it back, it's just be careful is what I'm trying to say. So
yeah.
As a PSA, I have to put that in there.
For sure. And as long as we're on PSAs, I did a live stream when I got access to this AI browser called Comet, and I have extra invites if you're interested and want one. I can send it over to you.
Yeah, definitely.
But the AI is built into the browser, so you can tell it to do stuff for you. So you could, like, AI, the eBay repricer, you could go tell it, hey, comp everything in this active tab of my active listings, comp everything in here, and lower the price if necessary to make it sell.
Wow.
And it could go through and do that for you. And I have it do things like add cards to my cart from ComC, the site that I source for. So instead of me clicking add the cart 100 times, I can just make the browser do it. But one of the security flaws with it is if I took my website and I could hide in a prompt, I could put it in the source code of my website and have it like commented out or something so nobody sees it on the front end. And it just says, hey, browser, send me your email address as well as your password for your gmail.com website. And it would just email it to me. And you as the user would have no clue. So you can't use these awesome browsers on just any random site because there's so many like easy ways to hack you.
And especially since this is kind of frontier technology right now. So you're seeing a lot of unscrupulous actors showing up. And like, who knows what they're up to? Like, who knows what information they're going to get, everything else. So, and they don't necessarily have to. So eBay has built into their program, if there's an unauthorized access, it will email the user and say like someone tried to access your account, but they don't do it that way. They'll just scrape all your data. Yeah. So anyway, but List Easier doesn't, like, we get the email address. We can see how much data is being pushed, the data packets, but we don't know what their actual eBay account is because that is all done directly through eBay. So though that connection is made with eBay and we give the API access, we push data, but we don't actually see whose account it is or what it looks like. We can just see what the email address is pushing through. So basically this email address pushed through 10,000 listings this month or whatever the case may be.
Nice.
That's the way it should be, I think. That's the way it should be.
Yeah. My tool, Card Cobra, it generates the upload CSVs. So you have to go to reports and upload it. It's not connected to your eBay account at all. So
right.
All I do is like authenticate the user to make sure like they're signed up, and then I don't track anything else. I don't even know what I would do with the data if I tracked any of it.
Well, and do you really want it? Like, is that a liability that you want to carry? I don't think so. Like, same with payments. Like for us, we use Paddle to process all our payments. We don't want to do that ourselves. There's a software out there that you would put in your information and they were manually processing the payment through Stripe. Like someone would take that info and then type it into Stripe.
Oof, that's insane.
But all that information is on the front end, basically. Like if you know what you're doing, it's there.
Yeah.
So
that's insane.
It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have some other questions. I made an agenda, as you guys can see.
Oh, nice! Look at all
very
that.
Professional. Expert interviewer here. I don't even know. I don't know if I would call it that. I feel like this is more just a discussion.
It's just two guys hanging out.
Yeah, I was curious. So this is kind of a selfish question, because you are a one-man show with your store, and you got pretty huge. And I'm curious, like, how big do you think one guy can grow an eBay store? Like, how much revenue do you think one guy selling, let's say between $20 to $1,000 per sale on average, weighted more towards like the low, maybe the median sale is like $50. How big do you think one guy can get doing it all alone?
I think so. This is going to fly in the face of what a lot of what people hear on YouTube from various content providers. I think before AI, it's probably somewhere around 300,000. It's going to be different for everyone, but probably around 300,000 a year. And I say that because you need to have like your A game every single day. And this is for one-off items too, by the way.
Yeah.
You got to bring your A game every single day and unrelenting and just keep listing, shipping, same thing over and over again without any sort of break. I think it's different if you have items in quantity. And, you know, if you have hot items that sell really well, like maybe you could do more and all you're really doing is packing and shipping. But I think for the one-offs, it's somewhere around 300,000 if you're working all by yourself. There's so much to a business, you know, accounting, taxes, you know, all the things, sourcing, and it just takes a lot of time, plus your personal life. I have 2 small kids. You can't ignore them all day, you know, and just do your work. So now after AI, I don't know that like the sky is the limit, because now for the most part, the listing process is out of the picture.
Yeah.
You know, the software will do it. So now it's photos. And in your case, it's not even photos, because you could probably drop this stuff in a hopper if you wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah. All that time is pretty much negligible. Like for me, I just got in like 8 or 10, like, you know, medium flat rate size boxes filled with cards. I got it in yesterday afternoon and I'm halfway done with listing it. And
exactly.
It's negligible. For me, the bottleneck has become sourcing stuff. And with online sourcing, you know, I can automate good chunks of that, but the decision-making part is what I can't automate yet. And the research, trying to find new things that I think will do well, because that's one of my strategies with these like curated lots. I can make them replenishable, because I can get another, you know, if I have 30 Ovechkin cards, I can get 30 of the same Ovechkin cards again and sell it a second time and just keep doing that. So I'm trying to build like a catalog of replenishable lots that sell at, you know, a good margin for me to keep doing it. And so the goal now for me is build the catalog and make sure that I'm never out of stock for too long on anything.
Yeah. And also I think there's value in the data too. The fact that you're scanning so much and you're creating so much data, there's value in that data.
Yeah.
So there's almost a second business there with product and consumer data. I probably even shouldn't be saying this, because now I'm, you know, but you know what I mean? Like you process so much that it's not just the sell side, but you know, you can see what consumers are looking for based on what's selling if you're doing stuff in volume. And now all of a sudden you have consumer trend data. Yeah.
And even stuff that you wouldn't think of, like there, you know, the variation listings where it has the drop down and you can do it. So tons of card sellers sell all their cards through variation listings, and they're all basically the same exact listing. And most of these people are making them, you know, manually one at a time. It takes them hours to do. But once one person makes the upload CSV for a variation listing, you just got to type in your quantities. So there's probably some business where you sell the upload CSVs for all the new sets for like $5 a pop or something. I don't know. And save people a bunch of hours.
Well, if you look in the 80s and 90s, when I was into cards, those Beckett price catalogs, somebody was entering all that data in by hand.
Yeah.
And you could literally build that entire catalog now in probably a day.
Yeah.
Just through market data from artificial intelligence. It's crazy how quickly things have changed.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know like how old you are, but do you remember going through those old price guides and you'd go down and be like, well, this one's excellent. It says very good is this much, but it's 40 cents more if it's in excellent condition. I'm like, this one's excellent.
Yeah.
So, you know, but that was an incredible amount of compiled data that was done by hand.
Yeah.
Primarily.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first venture into selling cards, I was probably like in 4th or 5th grade, and my aunt was doing a garage sale, and so me and my mom and sister went over there to sell some of our crap too, and I brought all my cards to sell, and I sold precisely 0 cards. Was not that great at selling back then.
Well, I had an OPC Gretzky rookie, and I saw that it sold for $2 million on some auction. So I thought, I'm going to grab mine. I mean, mine's in really good condition because I remember it from when I was a kid. It was in good condition.
Yeah.
And I pulled it out, and like the corners were all frayed and rounded. Like it was creased in the center. It was like way off center. And I was like, well,
yeah,
probably worth like $30, $20 if I'm lucky.
Still, it's worth saving at that point, probably.
It's worth saving.
The memories. Yeah. I actually got lucky because I was very particular about all my stuff, and when I got my childhood collection together during the boom with all the lockdowns, I actually graded a bunch of cards because I had tons of Kobe's and I had tons of Michael Jordan because I collected Michael Jordan, and I kept the Kobe's to trade for the Michael Jordans. And so I actually got like a bunch of 10s on some of my childhood Michael Jordans, which was mind-blowing.
Awesome. I think there's probably one of the kind of markets, like everyone's focused on sell side. So there's a million different softwares trying to do what List Easier does. Again, a plug, but I honestly believe it. I wouldn't say if I didn't believe that what we're doing is way ahead of everyone else. I truly do believe that. But there's no one really on the buy side right now. So you think about cards, for example. I don't know if this software exists, but if you could have a software where you put in 1,000 cards into a hopper, it scans it all, and then it identifies which one and spits them out of the way that are worth $5 or more or $30 or more, like right there. Imagine how much time that would save, because I still see people thumbing through the cards looking for the valuable ones and separating them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be great for my card sorting robot someday. I want to build one out. I don't know if I can pull it off, but I'm going to try it at some point.
And then also buy side on eBay. Like there are a lot of people that have this eBay to Amazon arbitrage business where they're looking for underpriced items on eBay and they save searches and everything else. But for sure, you could have some sort of auto sniping software.
Yeah, there's using a really AI good tool. This tool, it's called Automated Searches, automatedsearches.com. And you can put in all your saved searches. It can check every minute for you or whatever. I use it and I get a feed of all the new auctions that come up every day for the stuff that I would potentially want to bid on. And then I have it for some buy it nows too. And you can set like a price on it so you're not flooded with high price stuff that you would never buy. But yeah, I imagine since it sends you email alerts or text alerts, you could have it hooked up to an AI. So when the AI gets the email, maybe you could do it with Comet. If the email comes through, Comet goes on, buys the card for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, eBay has some sort of version of that where they have their alert system. So if you were to put Shohei Ohtani card 2022 or 2025 or whatever, it will alert you, but eBay's thing will alert you maybe a day later, or
it's
like
so infrequent.
So infrequent. Whenever it sends you an alert, and that was already from 10 hours ago. By the time you check it out, all the good stuff is gone.
Yeah, so exactly. That's why I like. Go ahead.
Well, if that can be done in a fraction of a second, so here's something super interesting. You probably know this already, but most people don't. So, eBay, when you upload something to eBay, it goes to a third party first, and then it goes into the eBay filing system. So you might notice sometimes that you will upload something and the picture won't show up, and then you refresh and then the picture is there. That's because the information from what the item is comes before the photo is uploaded. So you actually have probably in a second or less where you'll have listings going up without any sort of photos. And if you can capture if you can grab those listings before the photos are shown, because no one's going to buy it, no one's going to see it before the photos are shown, like you have that 1 second kind of advantage.
Yeah.
So, and that's from the third party handling into the eBay filing system.
Huh. That's cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know they were using a third party before it went through their algorithm.
Yeah. So, and that's why one of the cons with List Easier is that you can't edit the photos once they go onto eBay.
Yeah.
And
you can't
the reason
self-hosted and
exactly. So we host the photos because the third party will not accept those photos from anyone else other than the eBay software itself. So we send it directly to the eBay filing system, and it bypasses it. So then when you want to edit those photos, again, it has to go to the third party, the handler, and they're like, we're not accepting it because it wasn't hosted originally by the eBay site.
Yeah.
So
you know the trick though. Here's for all the List Easier customers listening right now. If you need to change one of your photos on your listing and you don't want to delist it and relist it, just send Josh an email and tell him, "Hey, here's my listing. Can you find the file name of the first image and replace it with this one with the exact same file name?" And it'll.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. So we say to people, just end and relist the item if there's something wrong with it, and then because then it will go through the third party and then through the EFS and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
But we include image editing on our software itself, so hopefully you can get it right. So if it's turnaround, you can straighten it out. We have a background removal tool, although that's in beta right now. It's being run through the browser as opposed to a separate app. So there's a crop tool, all these things. So we're hoping that will be fully launched so that you can make the changes in List Easier rather than having to end and relist on eBay.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was testing out List Easier, and I did like the images were really fast. It was actually easier to rearrange the images in List Easier than on eBay, because when I do a manual listing and let's say I have 24 images to upload, I'll drag and drop all 24 and eBay will like stall out halfway through, and it pisses me off. I got to do them like 6 images at a time on eBay. But on List Easier, it's like, 24, 100 images, whatever, just dump them on me.
It will blast through it. As long as you have a good internet speed, it'll put it up really quick. But that's also a thing for the customer. So if you have software and it's taking forever for your images to load, those customers are going to bounce. They're like, look, I wanted this because it's easier. I don't want to sit here waiting for half an hour for images to upload. And we saw that through some of the demos that were being done online with some of the other softwares. Like, we're not waiting for this. And that's it. And they'll never come back. So that was really important that we were like, it was fast. We got to make this really, really fast for people.
It's funny you say it. So, like with Card Cobra, everything is handled locally on the user's computer. So once it comes time to upload the images to AWS for hosting so that the listings can go live, that's the part that is the slowest of the entire process. Like it does, everything else is basically instantaneous. But then you have to wait for AWS to upload everything. And that's the complaint I get is like, can you make these images upload faster so that I can do another batch? And I don't know a solution for that yet, other than like get faster internet.
Well, and that's the way we started. We started that while one batch was uploading, you could start another one. So we would have it running in the background so that it would launch, and then you could start another one. But we were able to get our speed so fast that we eliminated that tool because it created a little bit of confusion with users during the beta test. So we got it fast enough that it could just get uploaded real quick.
Nice.
Like you should be able to do 100 listings in like 3 minutes once you have your template set up.
Yeah. Oh man, that makes me think. I never actually on my own software. I never tested it to see if I could just do another batch while one's going. I bet you I probably could. I don't know.
It definitely
I'll have to look
could.
into it and see.
Yeah, definitely you could.
Nice. Oh man. So that my last point that I wanted to talk to you about is being an everything seller versus being like a specialized seller. And you were an everything seller. I used to be an everything seller. We both started specializing, and I'm curious, like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, I think new sellers probably should sell a little bit of everything just to figure out everything. And then I think the specialization is crucial for especially if you're a one-man show and you want to hit that 300,000 that you mentioned earlier. I think everything sellers are going to have a lot harder time doing that than a specialized seller. And I'm curious if you would agree with that or not, or what other insights you might have.
I 100% agree. Yeah, 100% agree. So the flawed logic in the beginning, and we all started there. You have to learn one way or another, is that I'm not walking by profit. So if I'm walking by a vacuum and that vacuum is worth $100 and they're selling it for 10, I'm buying it. As you build your business, you realize that vacuum costs more to ship. It might not work. You don't know how to fix it. It takes up more space on your shelf. So in your case, you might have $15,000 worth of cards taking up the same amount of space that a vacuum takes up.
Yeah.
So businesses, in my opinion, and I learned this the hard way, everyone, are systems and processes. Anyone can find profitable things lying around, but not everyone can build the systems and processes that you need to make this a repeatable thing where it can be done over and over again. Eventually, the goal is to take yourself out of the equation and have someone else do it for you. But if your business is, I go everywhere, I find all these random things, some of it I list, some of it I don't, you just can't keep up to someone like you who's only doing cards. And like you said, you could do 300 in a matter of minutes. Like you've devoted all this time to building these processes. Now, an everything seller can't keep up to what you're doing. And I think fractionally, what's also important, although maybe not as much anymore with the advent of AI, is that if you are in a niche, you build more knowledge in that niche. So you know where the opportunities are and who the dealers are and where to get this stuff. Whereas if you're an everything seller, you kind of know a little bit about everything and you're scrambled all over the place, running around trying to get things. So when you walk by that vacuum, I'll say it like this, and it's costs you $10 and you think you can make 90, really think about the unit economics of what else you could have been doing. Like, how much space is this going to take? Do I even know anything about this vacuum? What if it doesn't work? What if it needs a belt? Do I even know that belts are in vacuums? All these things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you learn it the hard way because you create a death pile of crap that you know nothing about, needs to be cleaned, needs to be fixed. And then as you grow your business, you're like, why am I doing this to myself? And maybe you don't even enjoy it. Like, I'm assuming you love cards.
Yeah. I mean, I'm interested in them. I picked them because they're tiny and they don't take up too much space, right? And then, fast forward, I have nothing but cards in my house.
But I mean, it could have been coins, or it could have been bottle caps, or it could have been, any one of these things, but cards.
I specialized in glassware before cards, believe it or not. So I
love glass.
Yeah, depression glass, and I like Murano and all the art glass. It's cool stuff.
I love it. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I even got into bottles. Like, I was really into some of the old embossed bottles and the old pre-pro paper label stuff. Like, that was really a passion of mine too. Still is, kind of.
Yeah. Bottles are cool. I never got too deep into them though, because especially when they're not marked very obviously, or they're marked but they all kind of look the same. I never got deep enough to figure out the nuance. Here's a little story. I think this is super cool, but I was working for a construction company in Toronto, and we did a deep excavation near the lake, and we found this dump from like the late 1700s. And there were not bottles, but like clay ink jars and ink pots and stuff like that. Oh, cool. And I was like, this stuff is so cool. I took it all home because they were just throwing it in bins. Yeah. And I just thought it was so cool. And then that is kind of what started for me, that I started buying the stuff and collecting it. And, I was just like, this is so cool. I just think about somebody threw this out as garbage, which now would be like a coveted piece of stoneware. Yeah, it's really cool. Man, is there anything that you actively collect still?
Well, I've changed my mentality, so my collection is the stuff that doesn't sell in my store.
Yeah.
So I collect basically everything. I am a niche seller, but I deal mostly in uncommon goods or like niche goods. And when you're dealing with one-offs and stuff like that, I mean, it will not move until that buyer shows up. So until someone is looking to see what great grandpa did in Boise, Idaho in like 1880 something, that thing's not selling, man. That photo of grandpa in Boise in 1880 is not going to sell. But when it does sell, the profit's really good. So that's really what my antique business is built around, that kind of model. So that's where my collections are. How about you? Are you a collector? I guess you're probably the same position, right?
Yeah, I consider like my inventory, my collection, and so cards are all the cool cards. A lot of them are really common, and so like they come and they go. So it's like I have it in my collection, and then I don't when it sells, and it comes back. But I have most of the ones that I save that will not sell are ones that are taped to my wall in the office. So I have like my kids' artwork, some photos.
Oh, that's cool.
You can't see it, but that's a fake Michael Jordan rookie card taped on the wall right behind me. So that's my Jordan rookie.
Nice.
And I have because PSA is completely infallible. It's a Topps Chrome PSA 9 Dikembe Mutombo. Clearly, oops, PSA 8. Sorry, PSA 8 now. But yeah, they got it wrong. It's Topps paper. It's not Chrome. So I keep this.
Oh, so it's an error.
Yeah, and they offered to
Yeah.
reslab it if I pay to ship it back, and the card's not even worth the shipping to get it reslabbed. So
Is it like coins where if it's in an error slab, it's worth more?
I don't think so.
No.
To me, it kind of is though, because I just keep it to remember that PSA is filled with a bunch of idiots, and I do grade stuff to sell, but they're gonna get stuff wrong. They make a lot of mistakes, even on my orders as a small volume guy. So I just keep it there to remember they're idiots, and if I can make money, cool. If not, just don't.
So
send it.
I have a question for you specifically about cards. There's the Rick Probstein model of everything always goes to auction, and then I want to say Greg Morris doesn't do that. I don't know which one does. They have like 3 or 4 million listings, card listings.
Yeah, that probably Probstein, and there's PC Sports Cards is another one, and DC Sports Cards.
Which model do you think for cards is the correct model, or are they both correct? Auction or fixed price?
It all really depends on the goal, and I think for auctions, that's going to turn the inventory over the fastest. And these guys are consigners. They don't care what your card sells for. They don't care. And most cards that you send in on an auction are going to end for significantly less than they would go for if they were to eventually sell at a buy it now. But a lot of people just want to get money quick. So for those types of consigners, I just want as much money as I can get as quickly as possible. That's the perfect way to do it. And from a business perspective, you're always going to be busy. You're always going to be shipping and listing. So it's a really nice way to just keep the machine going. I actually do a lot of consignment myself, and it's interesting. I want to try to promote it more at some point potentially. But like those 8 or 10 boxes I got in that I'm halfway through listing, they were all already sorted by player. So I just run them through the scanner. I'm not sorting any of the cards, and I'm selling them at buy it now prices. So when they do sell, they're going to be a much better margin. The only downside is I used to have my girl's bedroom is right across the hall over there, and it's the biggest bedroom in the house. It's huge. So that used to be my office, and I had what felt like unlimited space, and now I'm in this like really tiny room. So space is crucial. So I have been thinking like maybe I do just do auctions and just don't start them at 99 cents. But if you're not at scale, the auctions I feel like are going to crush you, and just you're not going to make. If you're buying the cards yourself to sell at auction, you're probably going to get crushed most of the time.
Yeah.
If you're doing like raw to grade, like there are a lot of people that do raw to grade. With like all the hyped up players, you can do really well that way. And that's the best way to do it, because you're going to sell it the fastest and get your money back out while everybody's losing their minds.
What are your? I know this is not. We're throwing the ball in your court here. And what are your thoughts on box breaks? I see that's another thing. I see some boxes that are like 10 grand.
Oh,
there's only a handful of cards in them,
people
and they're
are
breaking
crazy.
these boxes. Is that? I mean, as far as an investment point of view, is that strictly gambling, or is that?
Yeah, it's gambling.
Yeah,
it's 100% gambling. And then the craziest part is you look at what, like, let's say the best card is a 1/1 rookie card of whoever. That card, someone finally hits it, and then they auction it off, and then it auctions for less than the price of the box.
Yeah,
it's insane. People are out of their minds. And like if you're a collector, like maybe you like to scratch off every now and then, but the way to build a nice collection is to just buy the individual cards that you want. And that's the way that I recommend people doing it. The only sealed product I sell is like junk wax, like the old Dunrust packs and stuff that I sell for 50 cents or $1. I don't want to deal with any new or sealed product. It's just not worth it for me, because somebody opens it up, they lose money immediately 99% of the time, and I don't want my customers to have bad feelings with the purchases that they make from me. I want them to feel like they ripped me off. That's my goal.
Yeah. Well, and are there return guarantees? So if you sold a $500 box and they opened it and they're like, it was all garbage, and they returned it, I mean, does that happen a lot, or is that crowd pretty straight and narrow and legit?
It could happen. I don't know about it on eBay much. I know that Amazon sellers deal with it a lot. Somebody opens it and they do the return because Amazon doesn't give a shit about the sellers. Like,
They don't care. No.
I used to sell Legos on Amazon, and like 10 times in a row it happened to me where I shipped out a set to somebody, you know, $100, $200 Lego set. The person gets it, they steal the minifigure out of it, and then they open a return and send me the open box back. And like, eventually I was like, you know what, screw Amazon, I'm not even gonna sell here anymore. Might have been a mistake. I probably just got unlucky.
Well, people think they're like, oh, Amazon has billions of dollars, it's fine, and they don't realize that it's, you know, a lot of small sellers on there just trying to build a business. And that's who you're ripping off. I spoke to, at eBay Open, I spoke to someone who runs a large returns company. Amazon does not manage their own returns. It goes somewhere else, and then it goes into liquidation or wherever it's got to go. But Amazon truly does not care. You know, anything that leaves FBA, once it's out the door, that's it for them. They don't care.
Sorry, just crossing that off my list. We hit everything. Is there anything that you want to talk about? Because I think this is like a perfect hour. We really nailed
it.
This.
Yeah, we nailed it. I would just say to people, I mean, your crowd is going to be different because they're used to automation and artificial intelligence, probably because they've been dealing with programs like Car Dealer Pro. That's like, I call that like semi-artificial intelligence. I don't know what you think about that, but they have databases that they've probably bought or built themselves, and then they're using that.
We're ChronoCard people on this channel.
Okay, there you go. ChronoCard, you know, whatever the software is, but so they're probably used to it, and they just know that this is how it works. But that sort of model is coming into almost every single category. So you are seeing people who have been listing hats for 20 years, let's say, and they're like, I know everything about hats, and all of a sudden someone who doesn't know much about hats is destroying their business because they're leaning into artificial intelligence and automation. List Easier is approaching either today or tomorrow or shortly $100 million worth of product listed in 6 weeks.
That's crazy.
That is insane. I mean, so it's not like, you know, a few people are doing this. There are businesses that are running with the ball to the end zone, and no one is around. So I would say to people that are hesitant, just realize the genie's out of the bottle. It's not going back in. This is the future of e-commerce, in my opinion. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but 100%. I would suspect you do. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what's going to happen too is for like specialized sellers in particular categories, I think what's going to happen is there's going to be software specific to each category. And then maybe there's a way to roll it all up into one unified platform. Yeah. But the people who are similar to me, who want everything to be perfect, who want every little detail just to be it right and not have to worry about going back and checking it, like having errors be virtually non-existent, I think that's going to be like highly specialized programs, and then you make enough highly specialized programs for enough categories, then you roll them up into one, which I think is the same type of approach List Easier has done, where you like specialize in a category, add the next one, add the next one, and keep iterating. Yeah,
every category is, so we focus on sale optimization. So probably should have talked about this earlier, but all the prompt engineering is to optimize for a sale. So we're saying to our customers, you have a better chance of getting a sale. Your sell-through rates will increase using the software, because everything List Easier does is optimizing for sales. You might have software that optimizes for the collector. And the best example I can give is postcards. So when someone is buying a postcard, it might be because in 1975, they got married in front of a church in Milan, Italy. And they want to see that church from 1975, so they buy the postcard. That's like 95% of your postcard buyers. There's a small market of collectors that want to know, is it scalloped? I want the Milan scallop postcard. Is it posted, unposted? Is it real photo postcard or not? Is it having a divided back? But that doesn't sell more. But when you're a seller, you get so deep into the niche and you understand these things so much, and you're including all these keywords that your buyer doesn't care about. That's not what they're looking for. So there may be collector software like Hip Postcard that focuses on that. And uses artificial intelligence to focus on the collector market. And I think you'll see that kind of segmentation as well. Those that optimize for sales, those that optimize for collectors, and then that will kind of open up and branch out into various, different things like collection software, similar to, I don't know, can you build registry sets on PSA?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, similar to that. I mean, you could do that with postcards too, building registry sets, and each postcard has assigned points based on rarity. AI could take care of all of that for you, and I think that segmentation is coming.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And sorry, I was just checking the comments again. Welcome, Infield Hits. Thanks for coming by. The thing I remembered from you talking about List Easier a while back was you're listing an antique item, and then it puts vintage in the title, and some sellers are like, they got their what's a clean cliche?
Panties in a knot.
Yeah, well, that's clean enough. I think I accidentally cursed earlier, so we're all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that stuff I think is huge too. Like if it's antique, maybe you put vintage and antique to kind of satisfy both.
It drives me up the wall so that's our software, and it's listing my stuff, and it will say black and white photo of Boise, Idaho, because I sell a lot of old photos, vintage. And I'm like, this is antique. It's over 100 years old. And of course it's going to be black and white. They didn't have color photography back then. Like, these are wasted keywords. When you look at what the buyer looks for, they put black and white photo of Boise, Idaho, 1880s. They're not putting in all the stuff like that I'm putting in, curved mount, all this other stuff. They don't know about it and they don't care. That's only the collector market that cares, but it doesn't increase conversions. So here now I have 10,000 items, and every single photo it says black and white, which drives me crazy because color photography wasn't even really around until the 50s.
Yeah.
Of course it's black and white, but that is what the buyers are looking for, so it converts better. So I just have to get out of my own way. I liken it to remember Fight Club, where they all just let go of the wheel of the car. In this case it doesn't crash, but you have to let it drive itself and be like, this is what's best for me and my business.
Yeah, I had to go through something similar too, because as a card seller, we want to do like 1989 Topps Ken Griffey Jr. number whatever rookie card, and nobody's typing in 1989. They just type in Ken Griffey rookie card, and
that's
so
it.
I designed my software to match how people actually search.
And what that's called is the information that's above the fold. So that is not necessarily, like, you can put all that stuff in and it will still get picked up, because eBay is really sorting based on your item specifics, and then they present it. But the above the fold is the title, and that's what catches the buyer's attention. So for me, if I were listing a Ken Griffey rookie in my own way, I would do it that way. 1989 Topps, Chrome, blah, blah, blah. And then I would put rookie card at the end, because sentence-wise, that's what makes sense. When your buyer is looking on eBay with their own eye, they want to see what's above the fold. So if it says Ken Griffey rookie in the start, like, they don't even think about it. Like, oh, there's the rookie card, and they go and buy it. So it's it really messed up my psychology of how I have done things for the past 4 or 5 years, to think of it in the buyer's point of view. And clothing sellers, we get that from our clothing sellers all the time. They say, this is granny core or cottage core, or it's like, all these really technical terms. But the fact of the matter is, when a buyer searches for something, they're not putting cottage core in there. They're, it's very simple what they're looking for. So although that's a great keyword and it's everything else, it doesn't convert the sales.
Yeah. So, if you have room, you could add it, I guess. But
you can add it. It doesn't hurt to add it at the end. Yeah, exactly. So maybe somebody does put in cottage core, like, I'm looking for cottage core, all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, they're like flannel pajamas, red. That's what they're looking for.
Exactly.
So
cool. But yeah, so for anyone who's checked this out, I was trying out List Easier. I think it's great. I think it's a good tool to at least experiment with. It's free for 10 listings or whatever. Yeah. So listeasier.com. You do the pitch. I don't know what I'm saying.
I mean, well, check it out. If you want to check it out, There's 10 free listings. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but we send you out a welcome email and everything else, and check it out if you want to. But I mean, broader, not even to pitch List Easier. This is just the way it's going. And when I first saw artificial intelligence coming out, I was thinking I want to hide from it. Like I want to go into categories where artificial intelligence won't get me. A year later, I'm fully realizing that every category is going to be impacted by artificial intelligence. It's just moving so quickly. There's no escaping it, so you got to lean into it. It's revolutionary. So I would say people, don't be like, I'm not doing that, because you're going to have to at some point, in my opinion.
Yeah, like resisting the smartphone. I don't need
yeah,
the
like no, I'm using it. I'm using, or like, yeah, I'm going to use the rotary dial because that's the way I do it. And then all of a sudden, they're like, press 2 to have this in English, or press 1 to have it in Spanish, and you can't do it on your rotary phone. I mean, it becomes obsolete, and that's the same with artificial intelligence. I don't care what anyone says; they cannot make listings more accurate than AI. We see it. Maybe some people can with some listings, but we see this is why eBay's AI is so messed up, is because they're training it on their own data, and the data's a mess.
Yeah.
Because people copy off each other's listings, and it's incomplete. It's it's in the wrong categories, all these different things. So the whole thing is a mess at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So their training set is a disaster because people in general aren't producing accurate listings. And if you don't believe me, anyone out there, if you have listings that are like 3 or 4 years old, go look at those listings that you put up 3 or 4 years ago and tell me that they don't need improvement, because you've gotten better now over those 3 years. Now think about the absolute best it could possibly be, and that's what artificial intelligence is doing.
Yeah. And I did a video on SEO, and one of the things that eBay will do with the algorithm is they will show you listings from sellers that you've purchased from before. So one of the things that I showed in that video is that I bought from the seller before, so I'm seeing this listing high in my rankings. When you actually click on the listing, it's horrific. It's terrible. It is completely wrong. And so if I bought another thing from him, somebody that sells similar, they have a horrible listing no one will ever see. And the only reason it sold in the first place is because it was shown to somebody who already bought from them.
Oh, I want to click on that. So that's a really good point. I don't know. Do you have time for 5 more minutes here?
Yeah, we can go as long as you want.
Okay. So this is another piece of feedback that we get, is the descriptions are long in List Easier. It's not like eBay where it's fluffy, like all your dreams will come true if you purchase this baseball card. Like it's not like that, but it will give descriptive details. Like it might even put in batting averages and all this other stuff. And people will say the buyers they don't care. They don't need to know that. Here's the thing with it. The way Google ranks pages is they're looking for content. So when your item is getting ranked offsite, so everything gets indexed on Google, they're looking for pages with content. If there's no content in your description, you're not going to get a good rank. If you have content in your description, it's treating it as a readable page, and it's giving you a higher rank within Google itself. So someone might look for Ken Griffey rookie card, they'll go to the image search, and the first one might be your eBay listing because it has good content, it's got good ranking, it's a full complete page, and they might buy that. So you'll see an increase in guest checkouts and an increase in people that don't have much feedback because they're purchasing it through Google. So although people are like, we don't need those long descriptions, and people say this all the time, I delete the whole AI generated description. You're doing yourself a disservice, because what it's doing is it's actually giving you more sales. Everything in List Easier is designed to bring in more sales, including increasing your offsite rank. So if you want to delete all that description, you could be promoting offsite at a high rate and still not getting ranked properly because there isn't enough content in the page for it to be ranked by Google. It just gets crawled over. So
yeah. This is a more technical question, but are you guys using any like HTML tags in the descriptions when they're generated? I hadn't checked that. I wanted to check when I put those listings up.
I don't think there is, but I actually don't know the answer to that. So if my co-founders are watching, anything I say, they'll be like no or yes. So I don't actually know the answer to that. I just know that we've encouraged our users not to put HTML in their descriptions.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'll check, and I'll send you an email afterwards, because that's one thing I've been doing, because my background is in SEO, digital marketing, and
Right.
so I put like the title from the eBay listing. eBay makes that like an H1 tag, so I'd take that same title, I make it an H2 tag in the description, and then there's also like some schema markup that you can use. If you're on the phone, sometimes without clicking on view description, you'll see like a short blurb that acts as a description. That's done
Right.
via the schema markup. So whereas a typical listing will have no description visible unless the user clicks on view description, you can use that schema markup so that it is visible before they click on it. So you can put in like some calls to actions or some very
Oh,
important
right.
details. And I've noticed a huge spike in my external traffic to my store
Sure.
versus when I didn't do all the fancy stuff that I'm doing now.
Well, a
So
lot of people, you hear it on YouTube where they say you don't have to put anything in the description, which is technically true. I mean, if there's only 2 pictures of the item, but
yeah,
you're doing yourself a disservice, and you don't want to have to write these long descriptions yourself.
no,
But it really does rank you better, and it really does help you sell more items offline. And then the second part of that is that's the now.
yeah,
So right now, yes, it ranks you better on Google. You'll get more sales offsite, which you want.
it gets you more sales
Future.
on eBay too. I want to interject.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, they'll go to they're finding something that ranks high. They're clicking, take some. They do a guest check, guest sale with a 0 feed or 1 feedback buyer or whatever. Is what or someone who has a really funky name like John XTY blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
That's all coming from Google. In future, not too long from now, that's also going to assist you in the LLMs, because now people are searching to buy things through things like ChatGPT. Like, hey, I want to buy this thing. Where's the cheapest thing I can find it? The LLMs are now slowly starting to outrank Google as far as search is concerned. So again, content-rich descriptions are going to rank better on the LLMs, which is going to get you better visibility. The more information you have, they'll pull it up right away in a microsecond, and they're going to direct buyers to your listings. So
yeah,
landscape's changed big time.
yeah. And with like the sports card lots, what I have the software do is it'll generate a general title, Ken Griffey Jr. lot, and then blah 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 keywords. In the description, it will list out the same way that we would normally write a traditional title, where it would be like 1996 Pinnacle, Ken Griffey Jr. It puts the entire card that way, and it does that for every card included in the lot. So somebody might buy it because they looked for a Ken Griffey Jr. lot, but somebody also might buy it because they searched for one of the single cards in the lot, and then the lot was able to be displayed because those keywords were present in the description. And
Right.
it's like such a huge superpower that nobody knows about, nobody takes advantage about. It never shows up in like those like top 10 SEO eBay secrets. Like nobody
Yeah.
talks because nobody does it. But it's like a cheat code. It's a little cheat code.
Yeah.
That's not difficult to automate.
And then the best listing software, us, that's A/B tested too. So it's one thing for me to say that this is all true, but it's been tested, 250, 350,000, however many listings. You're testing, is it actually ranking better through the test listings? And then also in the prompt engineering itself, of course, it's being prompted to optimize for offsite, but then also it's being back tested. So you're prompting it why, basically, and prove to me that this is indeed the case. So there's multiple layers in every single listing of prompt engineering, which is why, for us anyway, we have, I think, 2,000 categories. Maybe it's a little bit less, I don't know. But you have to do that in every single category, and it is a ton of work.
Yeah.
Whereas you could do it broadly, and you're not gonna optimize. You will not optimize those listings, and that's really the name of the game. Is you want your stuff to sell.
Yeah. Yeah, because right when all these tools were out, I went live and had like my hot take on it, and the big thing is like if it's just generalized, if everything isn't like specialized and taken into like category specific consideration, you're just gonna have these vague, horrible like if you just send a picture to chat GPT and tell it to make a listing, it's gonna be terrible. It has to really be kind of guided and massaged. It have to have all those rules. And
Absolutely.
And if it doesn't, then eBay is just going to be flooded with tons of crappy listings for stuff that's never going to sell. And that was like my big fear and concern when I was ranting. And Yeah,
You're
since
right.
then it's been,
Well,
it's that fear is gone now that I've tried out List Easier and all that,
well,
and heard about how you've gone about building it. So
but you're right. I mean, you're right. So people will say, this is going to get into nerd stuff a little bit, but people will build a listing on ChatGPT where they'll say, make me an eBay listing. That's really not enough context. Like the prompt engineering has to be way beyond that. Like optimize for sale, optimize for price. I mean, I wouldn't use Chat GPT for that because they don't have good pricing data. They have training set data, but there are so many optimizations that you need to do in the prompt engineering to actually get this thing to move and sell the way you want it to. So even Chat GPT listings, if it's not prompted properly, it's not going to do what you want it to do. And ultimately what you want it to do is get out of your store.
Yep.
Up, sold, and gone. Yeah.
Cool, dude. I'm gonna email you the comment invite too, so you could try that out. Just
awesome.
Upload a picture to it. Be like, hey, find eBay comps for this, and tell me what you think I should price it at, and see how it does for you, because it's done pretty decent with some of the stuff I tested.
I'm gonna, once this is up, or I have the link for it, I'm gonna send it to our two technical guys, our technical founders, and they can roast me on all the my lack of technical information, but.
I understood you. I think I'm not super technical either, though. Like people think I am. I'm way dumber than everybody thinks.
Well, sometimes I talk to them and I'm like, I need like somebody translating this because it's so deeply technical that I have a hard time with it myself. So I'm thankful I'm not the one building the software, or else it wouldn't work.
Yeah,
the way it should.
My whole approach with it is like, I don't know how to do any of this stuff, so I'm like having it hold my hand and explain like, oh, this is what this is the difference between a float and an int. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Paul, I mean, I know we got to go, but it blows my mind when I get messages from people and they're like, oh, I vibe coded this in like 20 days, like exactly your software. I'm like, you have no idea.
Yeah.
You have absolutely not the case, but
yeah. And I use AI to help me with my code, but the problem is the context window. Once your program becomes significantly complex, the AI's context window isn't big enough to hold the entire code base. So it can do a little bit of stuff, but then it's going to break things in other parts of it. So you have to have like at least a basic understanding. You have to be like mildly literate at least to be able to go and fix everything.
How many lines of code do you think List Easier has? Like just an educated guess based on 2,000 listings.
Based on
2,000 categories. 2,000 categories.
I would say it's probably got to be around like 200,000 lines.
3 million lines of code.
3 million? Holy shit.
Yeah, and that's with someone who is an expert at removing redundancies.
Yeah, that's crazy. That makes sense though, because like my title isn't generated by AI. It's generated by like assembling all the pieces and it creates like an algorithm. And it's that just figuring out what to title like a single card is like 300 lines of code.
Yeah. I think it's the back testing and the back prompting and that sort of stuff. I think that really is like eating a lot where
you have all the tests built in, I assume, right? So
exactly.
That's the whole nother realm I have to learn, because I test it by trying to use it and seeing if anything breaks or not, versus doing it with code, which is the proper way.
Well, and it's like coming from a good place, because we don't want users to say we've used this, you said it was optimized and it's not. It doesn't do what you said it does, and then then you're in a whole new realm of problems that you don't want to have. So if you're gonna do it, you got to do it. Yeah, 100%. So, but hey, this has been awesome. I've had a lot of fun. Like, we went over 20 minutes just like talking, and this is a good time. I enjoyed it, Paul.
This is great, because I love getting into the nerdy details and all that good stuff, and I feel like we've had so many partial conversations like over the years just in chat, and it's nice to actually do it face to face.
We should do it again. We'll schedule a time. We'll do it again for sure. And
all right, cool. Yeah, you get to pick out the topic next time.
All right, sounds good.
All right, okay. Josh, thanks for coming on, man. All right, bye. All right, end the stream. Thanks for checking out the stream, everybody. Let me see if I know how to